Welcome to Comics with Dan. Welcome to Monday Night Comics. It's been a little while since I've streamed, but I'm excited to be able to do another video. My wife and I recently welcomed our sixth child. We are very excited about that. So things have been pretty busy around here. So it's been tough to I don't even know if I would say find time, but just find the energy to kind of make it happen. So, but I'm excited that I was able to get something scheduled for tonight, and hopefully it'll be a little more regular moving forward. My camera's looking a little grainy. I'm using just like the laptop camera tonight. I didn't have time to get all my equipment down and all that, but maybe next week I will I'll set up a more professional looking setup. But anyway, so I talked a little bit about some of the books that I've read recently on a sort of impromptu comics commute video that I did that I posted last week. All right, so make sure you go check that out. But there's a handful more, some of the ones that I mentioned in that comics commute video that I planned on reading. I'll be talking about this week because I was able to get a chance to read them. And then there's some books that are coming out on Wednesday that I'm looking forward to, as well as some books that have a final order cutoff of actually tonight. So if you're watching this live, then you'll be able to just, go over, add it to your pull list. What's up, Ian? How's it going, man? I might actually have to run upstairs and grab my copy of Stash Box to show off on the live stream. Ian recently fulfilled a Kickstarter, Stash Box, and it's fantastic. Frederick Horning did the art. It's incredible. And actually, we're going to be talking about one of Fred's books too. So I'm excited for that. But what's going on, Ian? All right. So we have. Oh, yeah. Okay. Ian says he'll come on soon and we'll chat about it. Absolutely. We'll definitely talk about that. So, keep your eyes peeled for an episode with Ian as a guest. I'm going to call it, instead of Ian being a guest on the show, he's a guest host, because we end up talking about just about anything, and most of the time go way over the normal time, which is fine by me because it's always the best episodes whenever he's on. So I love that. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So the first book we have here, Justice League Unlimited number 11. And I am enjoying Justice League quite a bit more than I was early on. So the cool thing about this is that it leads directly into this DCKO event. And it was a pretty solid issue. You can see there's some appearances from I guess they call it Darkseid's Legion, but it's the Legion of Superheroes, and they are from like the Absolute Universe, or what they call Earth Alpha. So definitely kind of a good little ramp up to that. And the art, there was no Dan Mora on this one, but Carmine I'm going to butcher this, Carmine Di Giandomenico, he really crushed the art. And Tamara Bonvillain's always a really, really good colorist. So, yeah, I like that one. It was pretty solid. I'm going to be honest though, like the majority of this, and this isn't a complaint, but a lot of this just really had to do, it was very Mr. Terrific heavy, right? Which isn't a problem because Mr. Terrific's great. He's, one might say, terrific. But basically he's fighting off the parademon that got, I mean, right here, you can see the pictures here. He's fighting off the parademon prisoner that they had. It's fantastic. But yeah, Justice League Unlimited number 11. It's pretty good. Giving Dan Moore a break, which is nice. He needs that. Skinbreaker number 1. So this was something of an impulse. I didn't have this originally on my pull list, but someone on the league drew my attention to it, and I'm a big Robert Kirkman guy. I actually ended up getting this cover here, just because that's what was available. But first of all, David Finch's art is unbelievable. I'm going to see if it's actually, it looks like there's no preview for it. But David Finch's art is really incredible, which isn't surprising because his work on all of his other work has been great. I know him mostly from Tom King's Batman run. So that's a great run that I really enjoy, at least. But so this story is essentially, I mean, let me just read the solicit. And I don't know if the solicit really gives it all that much detail, but Nor has led his tribe for many seasons, but his time as chieftain is coming to an end. He wields the mighty Skinbreaker, but at his age, he can barely lift it. Will Nor's reluctant heir, Enoch, take over before their world falls to ruin? As a bloody power struggle begins, an even bigger threat lurks in the darkness beyond their village. So the basic thing here is you have this old chieftain and like the kind of young, sort of apprentice, right? And this culture is all about like physical power, right? And so if someone is weak, they're no longer like physically weak, they're no longer fit to lead, right? Now, I think Enoch is the younger one, and he wants Enor to remain chief, right? And he's doing what he can to help him with that. And the whole beginning has to do with them being on a hunt, which is literally to provide for their tribe, right? So it's all very, very like primal and tribal, and it's a really great atmosphere, right? And I think that's what just the combination of Kirkman and Finch really does in this book, right? It's not a completely over the top, like outlandish story, right? Like it's a I feel like it's a story that has been done in different ways before, but the first thing I thought of was the sort of the way they do in Black Panther about how you have to basically challenge the current king of Wakanda to become the king and all that. But it's just the way that the art works with the whole tone of the book that makes it fantastic. So additionally, a piece that's not in the solicit, but Enoch has a son, and the whole idea is that they're called skin breakers because, and the sword is called the skin breaker, and at a certain age, like the young, I'm assuming it's just the boys, but I guess I didn't think to see if, I don't think that there were any girls doing it, but they like hold the sword up and the sun shines through it and it essentially breaks their skin, and it's a painful process. But once their skin is broken and it looks like they're like able to like kind of flex around and move more, that's when they become men, right? It's like a ritual. And so it's all really just like really well done. And like, it's not surprising because of the creative team. It's just an incredible creative team. I gave this 5 stars. I loved this first issue. And not to skip around too much, but down here we have Skinbreaker number 2. Tonight is the final order cutoff for that. So if you're looking to get into that, and I might even do the portrait cover again, because this is Enor, the chief, or the current chief at least. But really, really good start. Loved it. So highly, highly recommend that one if you're interested. So next here we have Superman Unlimited. And I was really looking forward to this one, because I felt that in issue 1, so in issue 1 of Superman Unlimited, a giant meteor is coming to Earth, which is like the biggest Superman trope of all time, and I love it. But the it turns out the meteor is made of kryptonite, and so it practically kills Superman and crashes down, and he's out of commission for like, I think it's like a month or two. And when he wakes up, this little tiny fishing village in Brazil has managed to get all this kryptonite and become this massive city called El Caldero. Well, it was called El Caldero before, but it's now this, it has the highest concentration of kryptonite on the planet, right? And so they need help. So like it says, Kryptonite Kingdom faces a deadly terrorist attack from the Cobra Cult. And it says this looks like for a job for any other hero other than Superman's, because it's the city of Kryptonite. Well, the story gets completely turned on its heels in this, right? I'm not going to say any more because I don't want to spoil it, but he goes into this and it ends up not being what you would expect to happen, right? So this is 5 issues in. If I look back, I'm just trying to think, because I know that this wasn't, like Night of the Superman Bat, that was kind of a standalone. Towering Terror of Toyman. I mean, so like the nice thing is that you could probably read issue number 1 and 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 kind of standalone. And so you can see this has to do with the kryptonite changes, or the kryptonite being all over the Earth. But I just really love how Dan Slott is taking this, and he had something happen in issue number 1 that, in my opinion, should be cascading across the DC universe, and I don't see it all that much. Now, I'm not pulling a ton of DC books. I mean, I'm reading Justice League. I'm reading Superman Unlimited. I'm reading Nightwing. I'm reading Batman. I read the occasional Superman issue, but essentially it doesn't feel like what's happening in this book is spreading out to the other books as much as I would like for it to, because the idea of the entire world economy changing due to a mass influx of kryptonite coming in is something that I don't think has ever been done. I could be wrong, so let me know if I am, but it seems like a really new concept, a really cool concept. And on top of that, my last experience with Dan Slott was the Spider-Verse stuff, which I think he wrote it well, but I'm really over the multiverse stuff for sure. So, but Superman Unlimited is a really good one. That's one that you should definitely add to your pull list if you get the chance. Let me see when the next final order cutoff for that one is. So it looks like we already have the final order cutoff for 6. So 7, I mean, you could still probably get 6 off the shelf if you get to your comic shop early enough. But next we have Void Rivals. And this, so I did really like this. The synopsis of kind of what's happening at this point is that Goliant, which is this giant like monster looking thing, I feel like it has to have some sort of connection to the Transformers. I could be wrong, but it seems like it's a Transformer-esque, maybe a Cybertronian, if you will, that has been trapped in the sacred ring, and he remains trapped due to the fact that the Agorians and Zertonians are split apart, right? And the sort of I guess like God figure for the Zertonians is Zerta, who is now telling them like, hey, you need to unite in order to let Goliant out, so that we can defeat him in his weakened state, right? Well, the problem is that the Agorians and Zertonians have been fighting for years and years and years, right? And I think that's, I mean, the rivals across the void, right? So, um, it again, this is another one. It takes kind of a turn on its head. This is what I think is like the penultimate issue of the arc. I'm not sure. Yeah, because this 25 is the Quintesson War, which is a whole nother piece of this series. But this is like the penultimate issue of like the story, and so if we have, it's hard to kind of say without spoiling anything, but basically the confusion and instructions from Zerta get a little twisted, and it's a good issue. It's a good issue for sure. This one, they are doing, let me see, they have, see, I can't find the thing for it, but basically they did some really nice hardcovers for the first, I think 12 issues of Transformers, Void Rivals, and perhaps some of the G.I. Joe books. I don't think it was that, they haven't even gotten through 12 issues of G.I. Joe, but I think they might have done it with like the Duke and Cobra Commander series maybe. But that's a great way to read these. I think it'll read really well in trade. I'm enjoying reading it issue by issue, but I think reading it in trade is going to be pretty solid as well. So those are the books that I read recently. Although we can take a step back here and look at my actual reading log. So I've been reading IDW Sonic with my kids, specifically my boys. The girls like Sonic, but they I generally will read with the boys at bedtime while my wife reads with the girls. So I'll still read with them sometimes, but so we're working our way through IDW Sonic, and it's not bad. I think my biggest complaint surrounding it at this point in the run is it feels fairly directionless. Like if you look at like the Neo Metal Sonic arc at the very beginning, issues 1 through 12, it is very pointed and like it has a direction. And then you get into the Metal Virus, which seeds for that were planted in like the middle of the Neo Metal Sonic saga, if you want to call it that. But that lasted like, I mean, gosh, that had to have been like 20 or 30 issues, right? So at this point, we have so we're at like 67, right? And it's just sort of not as clear as to what the direction that Ian Flynn's taking it. Like it doesn't feels like we're getting a couple of smaller stories, which they're not bad stories, but I did really like the Metal Virus saga. So but overall, pretty solid. And I mean, yeah, like World's Finest, G.I. Joe, Nightwing, all pretty solid. Reading Batman #1, I mean, that was pretty good. I'm liking Zdarsky's Captain America. That's been a good book. But yeah, so some good stuff in there for sure. So let's look at what's on my pull list coming up this Wednesday. So I only have 2 books this Wednesday. It's going to be Batman #2, which I added to my pull list once I read issue #1 because I did like the direction it's going. And like it's funny because like some characters, it would take a lot for me to just add a book to my pull list for them, and some characters it's really easy for me to drop from my pull list. Well, Batman kind of gets leeway in both directions. right? And so it takes a lot for me to drop him from my pull list, and it takes very little for me to add him back to my pull list. So I didn't love Chip Zdarsky's run of Batman, and I've been pretty vocal about that on here. And like the whole Hush 2 thing has just been like one of the more difficult things to kind of wrap my head around, just because I love Jim Lee, I love Jeff Loeb, but Hush 2 has not been good, and it's at this point unbelievably delayed. So it's just I mean, I'll probably read it at some point, but it's tough to kind of justify that one. But the Matt Fraction Batman so far is definitely worth looking into. So if you're kind of on the fence about it, then give it a look. The Omega Act special is a prelude to DCKO, and it appears that it's going to heavily involve the like Darkseid and his Legion. I mean, we've got some Earth Alpha, Sixth Dimension World Forger, Batman Beyond. That's pretty awesome. Cosmic Boy. Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing I really need to do though is I need to read Superman, Williamson's Superman, because I haven't been keeping up with that, and that's been kind of an issue. But yeah, I mean, this is going to lead directly into the Omega or into DCKO, which I'm definitely concerned about my ability to keep up with this event, because there's good 24 issues here. And so like I'll read Justice League, I'll read this Omega Act special, and I'll read the core issues. I'm not going to pick up Titans. I will probably do Superman. I'm not going to do the Flash, Justice League. Night Fight looks great. I did like Justice League Red, but not really enough to keep it on the list. More core issue, Justice League. I should probably add this Night Fight #2 as well. I had to drop Aquaman off my list. Maybe that'll be a one to pick up. And Superman. It all depends on, I guess, who they fight, right? But we'll see. See how it goes. I am a little unsure about this event, because it almost seems kind of goofy. It seems like hey, let's match up all these guys and fight them against each other, and like that's fine. Like I think that's going to be fun, but it's also the first thing that's going to lead into the crossover between the Absolute Universe and the main universe. And to me, I'd rather that have a more serious tone to it. But I think it could be okay either way. But it's definitely one that I'm going to be grabbing. So this one, okay, so now we're going to talk about some ones that are on final order cutoff. So this one looks pretty good. I have no idea what it is. Holy smokes, $9. That's a lot. Vengeance rides again as the sun settles high above this bone-dry stretch of mesa. Wipe the blood from your boot heels and place your wagers as Oni-Press and EC Comics raise their pistols to pump 6 cylinders of hot lead in cold hearts into Outlaw Showdown. Okay, so part of why I think that this looks interesting is that I recently watched Fistful of Dollars with Clint Eastwood, and I started A Few Dollars More. And I did really like it. It has its flaws, like any movie that's 60 years old at this point would have, but I definitely want to look into some westerns, and then with the EC sort of horror twist on it, which would be pretty cool. And look at that, a newly remastered and authentically restored tale of hard-won Western justice from the EC vaults. I love the way that they do these, that Oni Press does these. They're really like, I'm glad that they got the license to do the EC revival, because they push out all of this new stuff that's like EC adjacent, and then we'll also like throw in like a classic one in there, which is great. I think it's such a great way to do it. Yeah, so that one's Outlaw Showdown. We talked about Skin Breaker 2 being on Final Order Cutoff tonight. I will always talk up Space Ghost. I am behind on this one. I haven't gotten around to reading it yet, but I will definitely be catching up on that. Part of it was that I never got my annual from the last run, and so I definitely need to catch up on that for sure. But that issue number 4, Final Order Cutoff for that's tonight as well, to come out next month. Now, this Shark of War. Okay, so we're gonna take a little trip here. Shark of War. This is a Kickstarter, and by Ben Lacey, and I had Ben on the. Let's see, it's not gonna. Oh shoot, I should have done that. I had Ben on the show not that long ago, although I guess it was a while ago, considering it's been a while since I streamed. But there we go. Okay, so Shark of War, and that's issues 1 through 6. So that's actually the old one, but the new one is going to be here. But I had Ben on the show to promote Samson number 2, and I recently got an update that I actually think I got the digital versions of this, but I'm like really excited for the physical versions for Samson to come in the mail. But this is another one that he's doing, and let me see. Oh shoot, hold on. Probably just heard. Okay, so now let me fix this. There we go. So now we're going to play the little video from the Kickstarter.
Hello, my name is Ben Lacey, and I hope you enjoyed that preview of Shark of War number 9, the epic conclusion of the Whales of War arc. Don't worry if you missed the earlier issues, you can still get digital and physical copies of all back issues. We've got 3 great covers, including our traditional Jaws homage cover and a Fantastic Four tribute cover. You can also get the awesome Shark of War plushie. And I've got a special bonus. The first 100 physical backers will get a second free comic from my back catalog. So please back Shark of War today. Thank you.
Very nice. And so his Samson Kickstarter was over 100% funded, and this one is only 64% funded with 3 days to go. So we really need a push to help get this one going. The really cool thing that Ben does with his Kickstarter projects is he will see right here, click here to read issue number 1 for free. he will give away digital versions of like earlier issues because he knows like it'll pull people in. And so he did that with Samson, and it absolutely worked because I read Samson #1, loved it, and then backed Samson #1 and 2, and I'm getting copies of both of those, which I'm really excited about. So this project, I mean, it's got, I meant to have Ben on, but I wasn't able to work something into my schedule for before the Kickstarter ended. So I wanted to make sure I talked about it. But so there's all the covers for 40 digital copy for $5, which is a great deal. Hard copy is 15, which is solid. All digital Shark of War. Complete digital version, Shark of War Volume 1, collecting issues 1 through 5 of the floppy, issues 6 through 9. 9 comics at all at just, so it'd be $2 per issue. So this seems to be, if you want to read all of it, this really seems to be the way to do it. But there's lots of other different options here. And so like 25, look at this. This is a great deal. $25 for complete digital versions of 1 through 5 of the floppy, issues 6 through 9, issues 1 through 3 of Vicious Vixens of Dakuwanga, and issue 1 of the Cthulhu Man, and issues 1 and 2 of Samson. So 15 digital comics. Fantastic deal. And then there's volume 1 of Shark of War and the floppy. So yeah, this is a good one. Let's see if I can, oh, shoot. Did I get that? Yeah, there we go. I put in the chat the link to which, I mean, if you come to the show late, I'll post it in the chat of the archive version of the video. So make sure to do that as well. So that is one Kickstarter, and then let me see if I can find the other one on here. It hasn't launched yet. It's going to launch on Friday. And there it is, coming soon. Let's see if maybe he has a video. No, he doesn't have a video, but Seconds to Midnight, launching October 3rd. So that's on Friday, right? Yeah, it's launching on Friday. This is it's an anthology of horror stories, right? And Frederick also was on my channel. I talked to him about all kinds of stuff, but really that was prompted by me seeing his work in Hello Darkness from Boom Studios. And then he also did Stash Box with Ian, who we spoke with earlier on the show through the comments. But this Seconds to Midnight. And then also another Kickstarter that he did was Pulp Traps, which I've showed on the channel, I think once or twice. But really where Frederick's work shines, right? Like his stories that he writes are really great, and they're good retro style in terms of storytelling, but his retro horror art is just beautiful to see. It pops off the page in physical version even more than on, I mean, look at that, even more than on the screen. And so I have actually an ash can of the Seconds to Midnight, couple of stories in there. I think this one might actually be included in that. But yeah, like this one, you know, make sure that you back this, because this is going to be an incredible one. So Seconds to Midnight book 1, 20 of Frederick's eeriest 2-page terror tales from 2023 to 2025. Yeah, I mean, and also that's news to me. I think I realized that he got nominated for a Ringo, which is awesome. I'll have to look into that, but that's really cool. But yeah, I mean, Frederick is I mean, I don't even know if I would say up and coming at this point because he's just knocking everything out of the park. But yeah, so definitely look this one up. So all right. And so that was the last piece that I had. Let me go back to League of Comic Geeks. And like I kind of already went through the ones that are coming out. Maybe I can look at some of the announcements, but yeah, so there's the Seconds to Midnight Ashcan. I think that's such a great cover. And I love like 3 people on here own it. I know I'm one, and I know that Joe from Joe Loves Comics, the podcast, is one of them. So I kind of wonder who the third one is. Yeah, so that was just this past year. So really exciting stuff for Frederick. So I'm happy for him. I'm excited to instantly back that Kickstarter. So if I look at what else we have here, let's look. Discover. This is kind of how I like to do this. So, let's start further. So let's start with my favorite publisher, Mad Cave Studios. Oh, wait. Before we get into that, I have another book to talk about. Hopefully. There we go. Thank goodness. Okay. So, 10-Ton Titan Terrier is by David Pepose, who is the writer of Space Ghost, and he's the writer of Captain Planet, and he is the writer of Speed Racer. He has also done, I believe, a Savage Avengers book, and is a great guy overall, but also a great writer. This is an all ages book about it. It reminds me of Gundam, which I'm not like an anime guy, so if that's a bad comparison, I'm sorry, but he knocks it. This is a great book. I started reading this to my my 5-year-old, and he was all about it right from the get-go. So I'm excited to keep reading it with him. This one comes out on October 7th, so that is next Tuesday. So that's through Mad Cave, through their Paper Cuts imprint. Really, really cool stuff. So we're not going to look at Mad Yak Press because I don't know what that is. Mad Cave Studios. Okay. Recently announced titles: Defenders of the Earth, Dark Destiny. So again, I read the regular Defenders of the Earth book, and it lost me like pretty early on. So I'm not 100% sure about that. I did read Circus Maximus, and it's worthy of looking into. So, the art's solid. I think like I have in my review here, like I think that it would have benefited from like some inner dialogue, because I felt like I was kind of guessing as to what was going on with the character sometimes. But overall, it's a cool idea. Basically, it's like a heist, but like a ancient, Roman Empire heist. So it's a pretty cool way to look at a pretty cool concept. And then I don't think Mad Cave Dick Tracy Halloween special. That's pretty cool. I'll have to check that out. Liquidator with Peter Milligan. That reminds me, I need to catch up on his The Pale Knight. That's pretty solid. Vanishing Point. That's another one. Are these still Mark Russell? Yeah, Mark Russell's doing those. The first issue that was really good. I can't believe we're on issue number 5 already. It's pretty wild. All right, so Mad Cave has that going on. Let's see what Image has going on. Kaya number 30. Wow. It's incredible that book is going that long. Does anyone know how long Kaya's going to run for? He has 50 issues total. Dang. Wow. I mean, the first issue was, or the first trade was pretty good. So, I mean, that's just cool. Dread the Halls 2025. Maybe I'll get a preview copy of that. That'd be cool. More Die, which I need to read some more of that. Inferno Girl Red, book 2. Nice. So some more Massive Verse. I feel like there's something I read about him. I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. Oni Press. Doesn't seem. Shiver Suspense Stories. Crownsville. Rodney Barnes. Rodney Barnes is pretty good. True crime meets shocking terror inside an infamous asylum with a tortured past in this double-sized 48-page debut. Yeah. It's worth looking in. Oh, wait a second. This looks hilarious. The Cowboys of Moo Mesa. I'm going to have to look into that. That looks great. Anything from IDW worth checking out? I wonder what Sonic the Hedgehog on the Go is. Collects the... Oh, it's digest size. That's pretty cool. So it's basically the first big hardcover, but digest size. So that's pretty cool. For $25, that's not bad at all. Yeah, if you just want to get into it and read it, that's definitely a good idea. And apparently we're doing a crossover comic for this Racing Crossworlds game. Here's my thing. I keep saying, like, why do we have racing games where Sonic is in a car? He doesn't need to be in a car. Let him run. It would set it apart from other racing games, and it would just be better all around, I think. But I'm gonna get off my soapbox, I suppose. Dynamite, Powerpuff Girls and the Thundercats. I mean, I would say that like these like old like throwback properties that Dynamite's doing are getting to be a bit much, but like honestly, they're all pretty good. Like they're like, I really like Space Ghost, and Speed Racer is pretty solid. What I've read of like the Thundercats and Powerpuff Girls stuff is solid. Johnny Quest was pretty good. I mean, Captain Planet was solid. It's just like none of it's bad at all, for sure. look at Boom Studios. VR Troopers #3. More Something is Killing the Children. The Last Day of H.P. Lovecraft. Let's see. Darkest Hour Deluxe Edition. Rare Flavors came out with like a deluxe hardcover recently, I think. I don't know. I don't know. It came out with a deluxe hardcover recently, and it was great. But Rare Flavors is so good. Like unbelievably good. So, okay. That's pretty much what's going on in the world of comics here. But I think that we'll call it an evening on that note. And I appreciate everyone that was watching. And if you're watching the replay, thank you for watching. And have a good night. Make sure you watch the videos, like and subscribe. That really helps out with the channel. And everyone have a good evening.